Oklahoma, and he sits on the Armed Services and Appropriations Subcommittee for Interior and Environment. So perfect. Great to see you always. Talk to me about this move and what it really means for Americans today.
Look, Harris, this is the reason why I ran, because the regulations literally put one of our companies out of business. What Lee Zeldin just did is took a sledgehammer to the regulatory environment. This single regulation right here was the single biggest factor in cost in history when it comes to regulations, especially when you look at what Obama did. This has cost the industry $1 trillion, and since the last 5 years has cost an annual $54 billion, and it was only climbing. What he has done here was exactly what President Trump promised, was he was going to roll back regulations that wasn't actually beneficial. You cannot measure any measurement whatsoever that this regulation has had on the environment. All it has done is cost us jobs and costs the industry billions of dollars.
Well, great. And when you say you ran on that, that was news. I actually didn't know that, and that makes a lot of sense. This will be a break for the American people, and maybe they can stop preaching to us about, you know, what kind of stove we need to buy. I want to get to this. Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, give us choice. Let consumers choose. What a idea that is, right? That's what America's about. Let consumers choose what they want. That's what President Trump is about. That's not what the Democrats are. The Democrats are about, hey, you need to do this, but we'll do this. We'll have our big refrigerator and keep our expensive ice cream in it like Nancy Pelosi, but we want you to have a little small one that you can't even hardly find a repair shop for.
Good example. Well, look, I understand it got a little chippy on the U.S. Senate floor yesterday.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, a lot of dramatic showdown action coming, and the heated debate erupted as senators, I understand, particularly on the left side of the aisle, were fighting amongst themselves over a police funding package. And New Jersey Senator Cory Booker went at his own colleagues with this.
What I am tired of is when the President of the United States of America violates the Constitution, trashes our norms and traditions. And what does the Democratic Party do? Comply? Allow him? Beg for scraps? No, I demand justice. The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. What are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way? That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. When are we going to stand together? If we don't stand as Democrats, we deserve to lose.
Every time we see him, it looks like an ad for 2028. You think he wants to run for president? Maybe. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto hit back.
I'm not sure the answer here is to stop bipartisan legislation that gives tools to law enforcement across the community to keep our communities safe.
So I said it got chippy. I mean, it really was a stump speech from Booker to his own people, against them.
Now, all it was him auditioning for the 2028 election. We see this with a lot of Democrats right now because their bench is empty, right? Where are they going to go to? But it's interesting how these Democrats always throw out, "I'm here to defend the Constitution," and what he's doing is unconstitutional. But yet they can't point to one single thing that President Trump has done that's non-constitutional. But they were completely silent and been completely silent on Obama instructing the intelligence community to find a report on how, not if, on how Russia affected the 2015 and 2016 election. And then you start thinking about Hunter Biden laptop, where literally the Bidens used the FBI to cover up his own son's behavior. You think, well, where was the transparency in that? Or how about the fact that President Biden signed one executive order by his hand, and the rest for his entire 4-year term was signed by an auto pen, and they want to talk about a constitutional overreach? You think, well, who was the person signing the executive orders? But no, Cory Booker is silent on that, and all the other Democrats are silent on that because of their derangement syndrome over their hatred towards President Trump. And it's absolutely absurd. And this is why they lost, because the American people see right through this theatric behavior that Cory Booker displayed on the floor.
Yeah, and all that you're describing might speak to the issue in some blue cities like here in New York City, why there's so many more independents than we have ever seen before. I mean,
That's
these
right.
people are escaping that party and they're like, okay, let's stick a toe in and see if we want to go far right. Maybe not. We'll just stay in the middle, which is an opportunity, I would imagine, for your party. Senator, always great to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.